Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining the Binghamton City Council special business meeting, 4:45 p.m., Monday, 23 October, 2023. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk will call the roll. Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Rosinetti. Present. Councilwoman Riley.
Present.
Councilmember Friedman.
Present.
Councilman Burns.
Present.
Councilman Strawn.
Present.
Councilman Scanlon.
Present.
And President Scringy.
Present.
That's all 7 here.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Quorum is present at this time. We'll open up to public comment communications. Residents wishing to submit public comment may do so electronically by emailing their comments prior to 1 p.m. on the day of the meeting to clerk@cityofbinghamton.gov or in person during the meeting. Madam Clerk, were any snail mail or electronic communications received for today?
No, there was not.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. With respect to Chapter 26 of the Charter, for special business meetings, public comment is only allocated to anything that is germane on the agenda. Seeing no one, we will move forward to second read legislation. Chair recognizes Councilman Scanlon for the purposes of a motion regarding introductory ordinance 23-138.
Thank you, Mr. President. Introductory ordinance 23-138, a bond ordinance authorizing the construction of the Water Street parking garage.
Do I have a second? Motioned by Councilman Scanlon, seconded by Councilwoman Rosinetti. Council discussion. Councilwoman Freeman.
Thank you, President Scringy. So I held this over initially because I felt like this wasn't in my opinion, it was not sufficiently publicized. So I hadn't, when I spoke to some of my constituents, they hadn't heard about this. So I thank you for the few extra days because I was able to solicit some additional opinions from my constituents who would not have otherwise known about this piece of legislation. And everyone that I spoke to was kind of surprised and shocked. Obviously, a parking garage is a very expensive project. And I know that we do need to make capital investments in the city, of course. That's one of the primary responsibilities of the city government. But there's $26 million for one project. That's more than a quarter of the entire budget of the city of Binghamton. And I know that we had another plan that was, the pilot bond that was kind of a creative way to pay for this. And the pilot, I didn't find that to be satisfactory for reasons that I had already verbalized. And so here we are asking to bond out for that same amount. This also includes $7 million of ARPA money, which there are some capital projects that I do think are appropriate for ARPA, and I did vote in favor of the, initially the broadband infrastructure, the water sewer, like, again, those are, in my opinion, appropriate ARPA uses. But I mean, this is so much money to bond. And, looking at the new bonds from 2023 in our budget, the interest rates are like astronomical. I don't know that a parking garage, if I was to say, okay, we are going to take a quarter of the entire city budget for one project, what should it be that would make the city of Binghamton better? I don't know that I would pick a parking garage. I understand parking is an issue. We heard that during the budget meetings. But again, we have some temporary fixes and that, maybe could be a surface lot. I don't know. The initial plan was for 438 spots. That was taking into account that there would have been, or maybe will be, 120 apartments on top of that, so we would need extra parking. But again, without that housing, 438 spots is, you know, a lot. I don't know that we need that many spots to alleviate the parking issues here. So, you know, I don't want to sound flippant, like parking is not an issue and I don't care. And I don't want to just say, no. But again, a gigantic pilot for a for-profit company doesn't sit right with me. This just seems not in financially, like fiscally, the most responsible thing to do right now, especially after we just bonded out $7 million for the improvements in the baseball stadium. So that's my 2 cents. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Council, is there any other discussion? Councilwoman Riley.
Thank you, Council President. I won't be long. As you all know, I don't have much of a voice. But we did hear from our constituents over the past couple of days regarding the amounts of bonds that this city is pursuing for projects that ultimately will not necessarily directly impact their own home rates, nor necessarily their tax rates, which really drive many of our homeowners in our community. And if you do any type of data or any analysis, we had a few members here some time ago that talked about the cost to develop a parking structure in even major metropolis is about $27,000 per space. And if we look at what we're asking for here, our bond would equate to 1,000 spaces, which we are not intending to do based upon that average rate. So I think, again, knowing that we must prioritize the needs of the city, like the waterways, like the flooding zones that directly impact home rates, tax rates, property values. I don't think it is our best decision to bond at this amount for a structure that can be investigated more thoroughly later. I think we have a lot on us as a city. And it's important that we hear what the constituents prioritize instead of the needs of various entities that may not have ties to the neighborhood that our constituents do. Again, I echo the sentiments of my co-council member. We know parking is an issue, but if we look at the paved lot that has been available, which only part of that lot has been available, it has been used, it has been well maintained. And I think for us in this current state, as a city that's under redevelopment post a major pandemic, it would behoove us to assess the use of a paved lot, look at the revenue generated from something that is already there, and then come back to the table after we have undergone and taken care of what we hear about most: flooding, revitalization, safety, housing. Those are my things. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, is the question called? Question's been called. Be mindful as a vote related to a bond. Introductory ordinance 23-138 does require a minimum of 5 votes in order to move forward. Clerk will call the roll. Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Ressenetti. Aye. Councilwoman Riley.
Nay.
Councilmember Friedman.
Nay.
Councilman Burns.
Aye.
Councilman Strawn.
Aye.
Councilman Scanlon.
Aye.
And President Scringy.
Aye.
That's 5 ayes, 2 nays, Riley and Friedman.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Introductory ordinance 23-138 passes. Chair recognizes Councilman Scanlon for the purposes of a motion concerning introductory resolution 23-85.
Thank you, Mr. President. Introductory resolution 23-85. Resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a supplemental agreement with CJS Architects for the Water Street parking garage.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motioned by Councilman Scanlon, seconded by Councilman Strawn. Council discussion.
Call the question, Mr. President.
Question's been called. The clerk will call the roll. Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Resaletti. Aye. Councilwoman Riley.
Aye.
Councilmember Friedman.
Aye.
Councilman Burns.
Aye.
Councilman Strawn.
Aye.
Councilman Scanlon
Aye.
and President Scringy.
Aye.
That's all 7 ayes.
Introductory resolution 23-85 passes. Thank you all very, very much for your time. Councilwoman Riley, we're very, very happy that you're feeling better and thank you for coming. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Do I have a second? Motion by Councilwoman Riley, seconded by Councilman Scanlon. We are adjourned.
Okay.